10 minutes later. With a flick of Dustin's wrist, more than a dozen silver needles shot up and neatly returned to his pouch. The blood-stained needles were instantly sterilized by the heat of his Xianqing true energy, a form of indirect disinfection. As soon as the needles were withdrawn, a unique pulling force dragged the plague toxins out of Lu Yang's body. Immediately, black blood began to ooze from the spots where the needles had been inserted, reeking with a vile stench. The sight was grotesque and chilling. Margaret and Su Lan instinctively took a step back, afraid of getting contaminated. This plague was no ordinary disease. Even with a miracle doctor like Dustin on hand, they wouldn't dare take any chances. Moments later, the black blood flowing out of Lu Yang gradually turned red, and soon returned to its normal color. His previously feverish body cooled to a normal temperature, and his labored breathing eased. Judging by his current state, the plague had clearly been brought under control. "He's not in danger for now," Dustin said calmly. "But the poison ran deep. He probably won't regain consciousness until tomorrow morning. Being able to bring him back at all is already a miracle." Su Lan sighed. "The doctors I hired before were all completely helpless. Mr. Dustin's medical skills are unmatched. If even he couldn't treat this plague, then there'd truly be no hope." Margaret praised without hesitation. "Flattering, but I'll still need my consultation fee." Dustin chuckled. "As long as you can help resolve this epidemic, you'll be well compensated." Margaret promised solemnly. "Treating one person is easy. Treating a whole group, that's another story." Dustin shook his head. "My medicine can only stabilize symptoms and help with prevention. It can't fully cure the plague. For that, they'll need to undergo my acupuncture method as well. If it were just a few dozen or even 100 patients, he could manage it with some effort and a few days' work. But if the plague spread to thousands, even he couldn't handle that. He wasn't a god. How could he possibly treat thousands of people on his own?" "I understand." Margaret nodded seriously. "I'll do my best to contain the outbreak and stop it from spreading." "Containing it is only half the battle," Dustin said. "We also need to root out the white bone cult that started it. Otherwise, as soon as we suppress it here, another outbreak will pop up elsewhere. It'll never end. I've already dispatched people to investigate. Right now, our best lead is Lu Yang. The sooner he wakes up, the better for us," Margaret said, "as long as you have a plan. If you need anything else from me, just say the word," Dustin offered. "Mr. Dustin," Su Lan spoke up. "Aside from Lu Yang, there are another 22 infected patients. Would you be willing to treat them too?" Although the village had been locked down, as long as people remained infected, they were still a source of transmission. Time was not on their side. "All right," Dustin stretched lazily. "Your boss is paying, I'll do the work. Looks like it's going to be a sleepless night." "Thank you so much, Mr. Dustin." Su Lan gave him a deep bow. "Lead the way," Dustin said, lifting his chin. "This way, please." Su Lan didn't dare delay, and quickly led Dustin to the makeshift quarantine area. The infected were housed in an abandoned warehouse. It had no advantages, except space. All 22 patients lay in rows on floor mats. Several soldiers in hazmat suits and gas masks tended to them, feeding water or thin porridge occasionally. All prescribed medications had been administered already. That was all they could do. "Mr. Dustin, it's only been 2 days since the outbreak began, and these people are already too weak to stand," Su Lan explained. "This plague really is spreading fast." Dustin glanced around and said, "Start decocting medicine now, using the recipe I gave earlier. Boil 3 bowls down to 1. Once it's ready, have each of them drink a bowl. I'll handle the rest." "Yes, sir," Su Lan answered and immediately went to carry out the task. Thankfully, she'd already ordered large amounts of herbs in advance. It was more than enough for 22 people. Before long, the strong scent of medicinal herbs wafted through Willow Village. Once the decoction was ready, the soldiers fed each patient a bowl. After they had all taken the medicine, Dustin stepped forward and began treating them one by one. Back in the day, treating this many people would have drained him completely. But now, it was a different story. His Xianqing true energy, even when partially depleted, could instantly replenish itself from the surrounding spiritual energy. He didn't need to worry about stamina anymore. At his current pace, Dustin could treat one person every 10 minutes, an incredible speed by any standard. Even so, treating 22 people would still take 4 hours straight, without rest. Just 22 patients already required this much time and energy. If the plague reached thousands, it would be utterly impossible for him to manage alone. That's why the real priority wasn't just healing, but containing the outbreak and uncovering the remnants of the white bone cult.
And just can't accept it. This can't be the end yet. You promised to never leave, and now you're gone. Can't believe I can feel the world slipping away as you slowly fade from my everyday. You promised forever a love without end, but now I'm left broken, struggling to mend. I thought we were so tight, destined for a lifetime, love with no end, love with no end. Staying in my imagination, memorizing the past time, the secrets, the love, the care. Now they're echoes in the air. I still see your face in every place, feel your warmth, your gentle grace. But now there's just an empty space, and I'm lost in this endless chase. Keeping you in my heart, a piece of you I'll never let go. Though distance brings separation, in my